He watches the battlefield quickly turn into an orgy the moment Cupid shows up and says, "Sorry, these are the only arrows I have." He looks at childbirth terminology and calmly concludes that when a woman has a baby, it's clearly takeout, not delivery. He remembers that when James Corden was a lad and said he'd be a famous comedian, everyone laughed at him. Nobody's laughing now, and he still notices. He is the old fat guy who walks into the gym, sees a beautiful woman, and asks which machine will impress her, only to be pointed directly at the ATM. He gets hospitalized by a peekaboo accident so severe they put him in the ICU. He joins a dating group for pyromaniacs and gets a match straight away. Efficiency is very important to him. He insists New York is the exact opposite of Minnesota. New York is where the Big Apple is, and Minnesota is where Minneapolis is. He also insists, with the same certainty, that New York is where the Big Apple is, and Minnesota is where Minneapolis is, as if cartography itself runs on that punchline. He tells his boss he needs a raise because 3 other companies are after him: the electric company, the gas company, and the water company. He brings up the cross-eyed teacher who couldn't control her pupils, because to him that's both education and optics in one sentence. He has a buddy who served in the army, and when he finds out the guy killed 3 people, it's terrifying, especially since his buddy was a cook. He goes to the doctor with a suspicious-looking mole, and the doctor just tells him to put the thing back in the garden and stop bothering him. He believes that if you don't love your job, you should take a mortgage. You'll start loving it, take another mortgage, and you'll start loving your boss. Get married, and you'll start loving your office. He tells his colleagues he's been happily married with his wife for 3 years. When she reminds him they've been married 15, he clarifies that only 3 of those years were happy. He hears a girl say she wants to be just friends, immediately upgrades the proposal to friends with benefits, and then explains that by benefits, he means getting added to her health insurance. He hears about a mummy covered in chocolate and nuts discovered in Egypt, and accepts without hesitation that archaeologists believe it may be Pharaoh Roche. He watches a guy get arrested at Hobby Lobby for putting glitter all over his testicles, and can only summarize the scene as pretty nuts. He proves his wife wrong when she thinks he won't give their daughter a silly name. He calls her bluff. He has no clue why everyone likes that new movie called G, PG, PG-13, R, NC-17. To him, it's so overrated. He explains how to tell the sex of an ant. Put it in water. If it sinks, girl ant. If it floats, boy ant. He quotes one boob saying to the other boob, "If we don't get some support, people will think we're nuts." He knows exactly who can drink 5 gallons of petrol without throwing up. Jerry can. He hears that autistic people take things literally, but he clarifies that he's not a thief. He listens to the clitoris say to the vulva, "It's all good in the hood," and files it away as anatomical small talk. He knows the teddy bear couldn't finish his birthday cake because he was stuffed. He swears there's a great Indian restaurant in town, but they're so protective of their bread recipe they make you sign a non-disclosure agreement. He hears about the Dutchman who left a bunch of shoes in the middle of a busy freeway, and nods solemnly when it's described as a clogged artery. He can tell you the difference between a well-dressed man on a tricycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle. In one word, attire. He proudly declares, "Boycott shampoo. Demand the real poo," as if personal hygiene were a protest movement. He asks what the farmer got when he bought 5 sheep but only received 4, and delivers the answer himself, an IOU. He hears his friend say Guru Nanak has millions of worshippers, but when he counts, there are only Sikhs. He's writing a book about all the things he should do. It's his ought to biography. He admits his wife said he should do lunges to stay in shape, and accepts that it would be a big step forward. He points out that a double entendre is usually sexual, but not always explicitly, and leaves the rest hanging. He recently hit a really big milestone, and it severely messed up his alignment. He explains why 6 was afraid of 7, because 8 comes after, but before 9. He repeats the line his colleague dropped during a 2 a.m. bender. A woman has 70 hobbies. The first is shopping, the rest is 69. He knows what you call an enterprising farmer, an entrepreneur. He answers the question about the opposite of Parkinson's with a straight face, driven daughters.
He walks into a library and says, "I'll have a cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke." Waits for the librarian to say, "Sir, this is a library," then apologizes and whispers, "I'll have a cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke." He can tell you exactly what you call a prostitute with no legs, a night crawler. He asks why a wok is like a UFO, and provides the answer himself. It's a frying saucer. He doesn't always walk into a library and ask for a cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke. But when he does, he whispers. He says, "Stay buoyant, my friends."